sorry for the introduction. First of all, I would like to ask for your excuse for my coughing. I try to minimize it. So I would like to start with the origin of Astropy, how it all started. So it all started when there were several different Python libraries doing the same thing. So in this example, it was coordinate transformation, transformations between array DAC and galactic coordinates, and how would we do that, which package to use. Those packages were incompatible with each other, so there was a discussion started in 2011 on the mailing list that it's not the way to go, and so people decided that put the efforts into something centralized, and that's how Astropy came. So Astropy is a community effort to develop a single package for astronomy, and to keep it interoperatively between the packages and within the project. So I'm talking about the Astropy project. I don't mean the core package. There is also an Astropy core package which lives on GitHub under Astropy. The Astropy project is a bit wider. It also includes the affiliated packages and all the environment around it, so including this conference and the whole community. The project is coordinated by a committee of 4 people, and the developers are a much wider community of around 160 people contributed to the core package so far. So what lives in the core package, it's mainly the common tools needed and shared for different astronomical and astrophysical tools like I/O, table, coordinates, modeling, WCS. And so this is the main documentation page. The core package is well documented. It's well tested on Linux and Mac OS and on Windows as well. It's compatible with Python 2 and Python 3. And we have a release cycle plan. So the aim is to have a release in every 6 months, including new features. There is also a concept of having a long-term support release in every 2 years. And there are bug fix releases in the meantime. There are 5 major public releases so far. The latest stable version is just a bit older than a week, which is 1.1.2, so it was a bug fix release. And as I said, there are more than 160 individual contributors so far to the package. So it's quite mature already. And so what's this long-term support release? So if you are building a pipeline or an application which requires a stable stability, then you can use this. There is a guaranteed bug fix to it for 2 years. So all the bug fixes are ported back, but there won't be any new features or anything that will break the API. And in the meantime, during the 2 years, there are still new major releases coming with new features. So, and in every new release, there are new features. So there are a few big ones, like in the latest one, there is integration with pandas, there are new coordinate systems, new histogram bindings, new support for logarithmic units, and also in addition, there are many more bug fixes and smaller improvements. And so what is the way forward? There are so many features you could put in Astropy, so we thought of having the community input where to focus our efforts. So there is this page set up, astropyuser.com, where we collect the wished feature, possible future features, and so please suggest and vote for ideas so we know where to put our thoughts and which one to include in new. And now I would like to spend more time with the affiliated packages. I think in this audience there is an interest for that. So the whole Astropy vision was very similar as it came out as the SciPy and the Scikit packages. So there is the core, Astropy core, and there are the affiliated packages around it, which use the functions in the core and in the other affiliated packages. So there are basically three types of affiliated packages. A few of them are core functionality, but under very rapid development. So they might end up into the core, like it happened with ImageUtils, which is now astropy.visualization, or like with the web project affiliated package. The bigger group of affiliated packages are for more specialized functionality. So for only a subset of astronomers are ever using it because it's domain specific, like for GammaPy or SNCosmo. And also there are packages with incompatible licenses, can be affiliated packages, so you don't have to have the same license as Astropy Core to be an affiliated package. Main thing is to become an affiliated package is to keep up a testing and documentation level similar to Astropy, and use Astropy wherever possible in your code. And very importantly, we provide infrastructural help, including a package template, Astropy helpers, and there's help with CI continuous integration, stuff like that. So what is in the affiliated package template? It's not a requirement to use the template to become an affiliated package, but it's very helpful. It provides tools for documentation, so everything is set up. Testing framework, also configuration files, and everything is in place. So you basically just have to put your own production code there, and almost can forget about the infrastructure. Also, there is helping with the CI. Also, there is a very detailed how to create and maintain an affiliated package. So I would suggest to go to that link and go through the page if you're interested in that. And there are 3 tutorials tomorrow which can be related to this topic. One on testing and CI, the other is for packaging, and then the documentation, writing, and swings. And so to become an affiliated package, you should send a request to the Astropy Dev mailing list. It will be the coordination committee who will accept your request. You have to meet with these requirements that use Astropy and other affiliates whenever possible to minimize code duplications. And the package should have narrative documentation, and also the public-facing API should have doc strings too. There should be test coverage, so unit test or functionality test, and also compatibility with Python stream. If your package doesn't meet all of these, it can still get a provisional affiliated package status, so it will be revised within a year or within that time frame, whether there were steps made to meet all these. And so here are a list of affiliated packages at the moment, like PyAstro16, photometry, GammaPy, gamma ray analysis, supernova light curves, fitting, SNCosmo, spectacles, spectroscopic analysis, and so on. And these are the most important web addresses. So the first one is for the Astropy project. So there are links to the affiliated packages and the core package as well. The second is the documentation of the Astropy core. There are tutorials, which are very important. So it's not just the core functionality, but there is how do I do this in Python using Astropy. And the code lives on GitHub. And this is the gas power. So
we have plenty of
oh, and I was much faster than I wanted. Sorry.
Can we see it again?
Yeah. Yes. Why don't you explain what this is?
Yeah, this I just intended to have during the questions for, it's a code flower domain. So all dots are just like a module of Astropy. I believe this is the DC extension, that's the documentation, and those flying bits are people touching the code. So it starts from 2012 and then goes until yesterday.
Notice Eric's been running frantically since day one.
Yes, a few people are doing that.
Ready for questions?
Yes.
That's good. Questions? No one? Oh, you still want to do this? Need to do it in slow motion so we can read the names.
The dots are the packages.
Dots are the files,
Yeah.
individual files.
Yes, Kelly.
I guess I'm a little bit, when is something not an affiliate package? Like YT, for example, is not an affiliate package, is that right?
But they didn't request, so it's not, yeah, I mean, it's not, packages can choose to become affiliated, they're not affiliated by people.
So an affiliated package asks to become part of or under the umbrella of the Astropy project. And also they need to have the initiative of having this vision of reusing the code whenever possible. Or with YT, maybe there isn't that a big overlap with the...
Right.
So yeah, I think it can be, but you know, it's a bit separate word. So.
I would say early on there's been a little bit of flexibility. There's certain requirements, and some have been accepted provisionally with the assumption that eventually these requirements will be met. For example, you know, maybe it's not Python 3 compatible entirely yet, or it doesn't have all the tests it should have, or it should really switch to using one of the Astropy libraries, but it's using something else instead. And so that's sort of understood that people will try to finish out that kind of thing. So sometimes these are in provisional status.
My question is really the other question, which is, what are examples of some projects which are great Astro projects, which it doesn't make sense for them to be part of the Astropy, like an Astropy affiliated package?
So one example might be Astropy6, which was a sort of precursor similar to Astropy that I wrote. But then once Astropy came into being, it was essentially deprecated. So I don't want to encourage anyone to use it. I want to encourage them to use Astropy instead. So that shouldn't be affiliated. That would be one. We have like 3 or 4 we have actually listed on the page, where we basically say, don't use these non-affiliate packages, but you might want them if stuff isn't in Astropy yet.
I also think, I mean, YT is probably an example. I'm not super familiar, but essentially it almost predated Astropy, and there's a lot of heritage code and a lot of really big specialized functionality within YT already. And so for them to, you know, come and say, well, we need to use Astropy tables and how that fits, it may or may not make sense for them, honestly.
And YT is also bigger than Astro. They're not just using Astro.
Okay, so something that's bigger than Astro.
maybe.
Okay. But
It
it
doesn't have a
doesn't,
lot of overlap between Astropy and very little overlap between functionality. So it doesn't necessarily make sense to sit it under the Astropy umbrella.
so, but it seems like packages which are being made, which are of general use in the astronomical community, for the most part, are gonna, there's incentive to be an Astropy affiliated.
It gives a lot of exposure. I think, for example, YT doesn't need advertising, right? It's everyone knows. Many people know YT. If you have a affiliate package that you've developed, it helps to have it on the Astropy page, right? So the work that you have to put in is you have to make it, you have tests and documentation and things like that, and then what you gain from it is exposure, within the community.
Nice. Thank you.
Also, I think if you became an affiliated package, there will be there were more people willing to put efforts in your package as well. So like
More contributors as well.
yeah, not just contributors to the functionality, but also with the infrastructure. So as I said, in Astropy, we are providing this and that infrastructure help. And if it's an affiliated package, I think more of us are more willing or we will sooner contribute some help than if it's just a package floating around that.
Right now it seems there's a bit of a limbo actually. If you kind of start off writing a package and it's got some connection with Astropy, you start using the template and it gets the Astropy logo and all of this stuff. I don't know what happens if eventually it's not suitable as an affiliated package. There's a way to remove, because you don't want to rewrite that stuff yourself.
So there is sort of, right now, the way it works is almost, in fact, I think so far, every person who's applied to have an affiliated package got the provisional acceptance, which means it gets re-reviewed every year. And at least one package, the person just stopped developing it and in fact wouldn't even respond to emails. So we've removed it from the list. Right? So that's the sort of effective way that happens. Most of the time you start out on this provisional acceptance and work your way up to full.
I just want to add that you don't have to be an Astropy affiliate, or a package doesn't have to be affiliated with Astropy to use the package template. I have many of those packages. The template is great to use, and yeah, it does come with a logo for free, I guess. But it's giving you just a lot of functionality. You don't have to get the public attention of being affiliated.
Should the logo be removable then?
It is.
Yeah.
Or you may need to support Python 3 or not to support Python 2, but not meet some of the requirements.
I mean, I guess you should use it powered by Astropy instead of the Astropy logo for that.
I certainly think in the last year or two, the affiliated package concept has grown into the vision that we originally had, because people are starting to use it and people are seeing the power of being able to start with a template and documentation and just have all this sort of boilerplate stuff saying, boom, I've got a package that looks professional out of the box. And having something that looks good out of the box actually, that makes people want to use it.
It also helped a lot of core functionality became more mature, that people could build on it and use it more easily.
So somewhat different question. As Astropy is moving from providing, let's call it infrastructure, such as images and data classes and units and quantity support, more towards adding more and more science algorithms, how do you ensure or how do you track correctness of those algorithms? Is there going to be a review process? Let me just give you a concrete example. There's more than one way to compute even something as simple as an aperture magnitude. Some are more correct than others. Are you going to, when you're looking at affiliated packages that provide this kind of functionality and implicitly giving them a seal of approval of this broader community, is there going to be some kind of a review process to maintain the quality of the algorithms that are provided?
So for affiliated packages, I'm not aware that we require those kind of benchmarks to do, but within the core for like coordinates, we do have benchmarks compared to other packages. Also with some of the affiliated packages, we have those benchmarks where compared to other standard packages or with infotutils, we compare it to the IRF or compare different algorithms and keep that as benchmarks. But yeah, I'm not sure whether we will have that as a requirement for affiliates.
Yeah, maybe we should move on, but yeah, it sounds like it may be a topic for later discussion, really.
Maybe an
I think,
on-conference
yeah,
session.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a really good thing to talk about.
yeah. All right. Next